Greetings to each and every one of y'all. Thank you for tuning in today. Special greetings to the 32,510 of you all who have hit that subscribe button and helped me hit my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. I thank each and every one of y'all for tapping in today. Hit that like button, jump into the best live chat on the internet. We got a great show, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's go. Grace and peace, everybody. Wait, my camera moving. Grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do? We're going to figure out why this camera's moving. That's what we're going to do. Great day. I don't like that. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in on today. I got a good one for you because we're going to look back. We're going to go back and look at what's going on with Fani Willis. And something happened on Monday when we looked at the press conference where the city of Atlanta was talking about how great the stats were and such like that. Something jumped out, and I don't know if I mentioned it if I voiced my concern more than I just kind of thought like, man, that's kind of weird. She told everybody in the audience, if you like these numbers, make sure you reach out to the city commissioner, Rob Pitts, and tell him blah, 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 blah. I was like, Rob Pitts is your guy. Like, why is she doing that? Why is she calling out Rob Pitts? Now we know why she's calling out Rob Pitts, and we'll talk about that today. So shout out to everybody that's already jumped into the chat. Hey, Q, how are you doing? Grace and peace to you, friend. Always good to see my sister from another mister in the building. I also noticed that my lights are out behind me. I'm telling you, man, we're going to have to get our lives together over here at DWC, man. We need producer Jason to get his life together. But I'm going to double check that. And now we're back. There we go. And this is off. Man, I tell you, we got some craziness going on up in there. Anyway, y'all. So just an idea, just something I want to ask Sleepy right here. Shout out to you, Sleepy, for stopping through. How many of you all can go to your employer and say, hey, employer man or employer woman, hey, you know what? I like the fact that you're paying me X amount of dollars and all that kind of good jazz like that. But it sure would be terrible if those TPS reports weren't able to get filed on time. It sure would be a bad, bad thing if those rogue gerbils weren't able to get captured. It'd be pretty bad. Yeah. So maybe you should pay me a little bit more money to make sure none of those things happen. Could you get away with that? I don't know. Like the modern workplace is kind of weird. Could you get away with that, Lady Dial? Could you get away with that and say that? I know Q, I don't know, Q probably could, man. Q's built differently. But could you do that? Can you just go to your employer and say, hey, the work that you're paying me to do, it sure would be terrible if I couldn't do it. It sure would be bad if, hate to say it, but people might actually no longer be alive if you don't pay me more money. Can you do that? I just let me know. Yeah, can you do that? Oh, Q, you can't do that. Well, that's terrible. I'm just trying to figure this out because that's basically what Fani Willis told the Fulton County Commission. But wait, Jason, wait. The Fulton County Commission, isn't that the group of people that gave Fani, money for cars that she didn't even need that were still parked in the parking deck? She could buy more cars. Remember those people? Yeah, that's the Fulton County Commission. And yeah, those are the exact same people she now is tacitly threatening. She's basically threatening them. I promise you. I promise you in a second. I'll show you and you will believe me. Finding good, you're going to believe me. You're going to be like, yeah, she basically is threatening them. No, I'm not kidding you. You know what? Y'all think I'm lying. So let's go ahead and bring this in. Shout out to AV to the seventh power. I was on lunch today and AV was going over this and I said, oh my goodness, oh my word, I'm going to have to go over this. So shout out to AV to the seventh power because she put this on the radar for Dear Woke Christian. I said, oh man, I got to talk about this. I ain't talked about Fani in a hot minute. Well, at least it's Monday, but same kind of thing. All right, let's get at this thing. Because I think y'all might think I'm making this up. Y'all think DWC is faking the funk, but we don't want that to be the case at all. I do want to say this though, before we get too far into the field, I do want to say thank you all. I made that little intro of the 32,510 people. I made that yesterday. I said, "Oh, good. My channel might be up to that point by the time I use this graphic." Y'all have already crushed it. So now I got to go make another one. So that graphic is actually outdated before I even used it. Shout out to each and every one of y'all, man. Thank you so much for helping me hit my goal of 50,000 by the time Tiffany Henry gets kicked out of office or by the end of April. Either one. But let's get at this because I think y'all think I might be joking. Y'all think DWC is pulling your leg. All right, here it comes. Fani Willis, and this is from the capital B, Atlanta. Fani Willis threatens to sue Fulton County commissioners over budget. I really wish this stuff was made up. I really wish. I don't even know. I'm not going to play 2025 bingo because I have no idea where we're going to end up. But this was not on my bingo board, even on a good day. I had no idea that we'd ever see. Hear me clearly. If you enact the proposed budget, people will be deleted, she wrote in a letter to the board last month. All right, this letter slid right under the radar. I don't know what I was doing. I might have been hopped up on eggnog or fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to sue your employer. Fa la 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 la. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. So I'm telling you, I told you, Lady Dow, you was not ready for this. You were not prepared for these shenanigans. I also am not prepared for finding good blessing somebody with a membership. Shout out. Thank you so very much for that. But let us continue because y'all came in here for this. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis wrote to the County Board of Commissioners last month to say that the proposed budget for her office would endanger citizens and worsen conditions at the Fulton County Jail. I think it's interesting. We're going to go through this, and I'm sure you're going to probably have some of the same exact questions that I have as well. How is this? That's a great point. Joe K came right up in here. I don't even know who Joe K is, but shout out to Joe. Joe said that 21K is due today. She better drop that money. She better put that money in that love offering for I forgot the name of the organization, but she better pay him up. She gonna find her own self in a jail cell in Wright Street. That's right, Antonio. Grace and peace to you, my brother. All right. She need to leave well enough alone. She don't know what's good for her. As my big mama would say, she on borrowed time. As we read this, we're gonna read through the article and we'll read the letter as well that she actually wrote. I'm a little bit befuddled. Why do you like to judicial watch? Thank you so much. I'm talking too fast today, Joe, and I just couldn't get it together. But shout out to you. Thank you so much for that, Joe. So, uh, Fani Willis and this new generation of people, they're built differently. And maybe we would have been like this if we had social media when we were children. Maybe we would have been this messed up in the head that everything needs to be said, everything needs to be done. No, I don't know. But like my grandparents, they moved differently, and they made DWC move differently. Mama Dear World Christian moves differently than this. But boy, the new generation, they just moved. They're built differently, man. We did something wrong to them. Let's go and let me explain what I mean. Fulton County Commissioner. Let's bring this up a little bit better. Fulton County. That's a little better. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis issued a 7-page letter to the Fulton County Board of Commissioners last month, threatening to sue if her office is not sufficiently funded in 2025. Fani is a whole different game. I can't imagine. Like, go to your employer and threaten to sue them if they don't give you a raise. I'm sorry. I got to make that make sense. Through an open records request, Capital B Atlanta obtained documents Willis's office sent to the Board of Commissioners on December 11th in response to the county's proposed budget, which the district attorney insisted does not adequately support the needs of her office and thus would endanger citizens and worsen conditions in the Fulton County Jail. It's just something to think about. And I'm gonna propose something. I'm gonna just throw it out there to see what y'all think. Did she write this because she knows that federal funding that, remember all that Jim Jordan stuff that's been going on? Jim Jordan wants to speak to her. She snubbed the subpoena. I ain't got to go up there and do that. I ain't got to do that. Remember all that? Remember all that? Well, that funding is coming to an end. Is it possible that she wants the Fulton County Commission to make up for some of the monies that won't be coming in because she didn't go and speak to Jim Jordan, and that funding might possibly end? I'm not 100% certain that's the case. I'm just asking you, does that make sense? Does that jibe with what you might believe to be reality? Now, we could be wrong, but are we? Let's keep it going. I don't think so. I think we might be on to something, DWC. I think you might be cooking with something there. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go. Fulton County Board of Commissioners are expected to finalize this year's budget at their next meeting on January 22nd. So that's next Wednesday, determining how the county will allocate. Look at this. Their budget is almost $1 billion. $990 million. Let's round it up to the next 10. That's $1 billion of general funds. $1 billion. Now, clearly, if you are dealing with $1 billion, and how much is Fani going to be getting? That's the question I think would be reasonable to ask. Well, clearly, for her to be raising all this fuss, she must be getting $10.95. She must be getting, T-Moon numbers, right? Continue on. Willis and other justice officials have been sounding an alarm about departmental underfunding for months, cautioning the potential setbacks in managing the jail population, keeping courts operating efficiently, and preventing crime and violence. Without adequate funding and properly serve the citizens of the county, we have to explore legal remedies, which include filing a lawsuit against the Board of Commissioners to seek a budget consistent with the number and nature of cases this office handles, she wrote. Fani needs a whole stop, because I'm promising you, the Fulton County Commission has been the one shielding her from having an audit. They've been shielding her from needing to answer subpoenas. They've been shielding her from all of these things that have been pointing out the fact that Fani Willis uses money wrong. Do you really want to perturb them and sue them when they're the ones that are protecting you? This is a whole different game. I've never seen anybody like this. Okay, let's keep this rolling. The district attorney's office did not respond to requests for comment. Oh, well, color me surprised. I'll just be surprised. Oh, my word. As of January 8th, the commissioners meeting, the district attorney's office will be allocated $39 million in 2025. Okay, so let me real quick do the quick math, because I didn't do that ahead of time. The budget currently is 990, and we're going to divide that by 29. Oh, I'm sorry, by 39. So that's like 3% of their budget is allocated to the Fulton County Commission. I'm sorry, to Fani Willis's office. 3% of the budget. Now, Fani requests an unspecified funding increase that is sufficient to restore the 20% staff reduction she says she will be forced to make last year. So she wants 20% more than 39 million. So let's go 39 plus 20%. So she wants basically $47 million effectively. She needs about $47 million if we just say that this 20% represents 20% more. She's saying she got to reduce her staff. I have no idea how many people are on her staff, but let's just say for real though, $39 million. Remember, they gave her $12 million to buy cars. No, six. They gave her $6 million to buy cars 2 years ago. And she already had cars that were in the parking deck. That's crazy. That's some nasty work, Fani. I don't know how you sleep at night. Let's keep this going so everybody can get going. Let's go. Those personal cuts were caused by the December 31st ending of federal funding programs. There we go. Project ORCA, which was created to address deadly overcrowding in Fulton County Jail, and the accumulation of cases in the Fulton County court system due in large part to C-19 pandemic-related court shutdowns. So, yeah, that's exactly what it is, Jason. It is because she's trying to make up for that difference because the federal funding's cut. But is it possible the federal funding is not going to be there, maybe because you haven't shown and proved why you need it, Fani? Is that just too much? Maybe that's a lap too far. Continue, Jason. Project ORCA launched in December 21, so that's about 4 years ago. Just 1 year into Willis's first term as district attorney, the program allowed Fulton County to hire 528 employees, including 133 in the district attorney's office. Okay, so I'm wondering, my question, and this backlog number, this number is just, I don't know what they write this backlog number on. It is all over the place. And now I'm reading. Okay, let me just read the whole thing, Jason. Shut up. Project ORCA launched in December 2021, just 1 year into Willis's first term as district attorney. The program allowed Fulton County to hire 528 employees, including 133 in the district attorney's office, to resolve 148,209 backlog cases that dated back at least to 2015. Okay, I got so many problems with this sentence right here. I might just have to rage quit the entire the whole thing. I have never, and y'all know I've talked about Fani Willis a lot, and I've talked a whole bunch of trash about these magical backlog, wiggle your fingers and everything goes away. I have never, as many times as I talk trash about Fani, I have never heard anything in the ballpark of 149,000 backlog cases. I've never heard of that. This is the very first time I've ever seen that number. Where did that number come from? Because I have never heard Fani talk about that. I've heard 18. I've heard as many as low as 7,000, but I've never heard 148,209 backlog cases. Fani Willis just be pulling stuff out of her whole backside. There's no way. Like what? And then the next question, these three sentences right here are really driving my blood pressure up. It says here that she hired 528 employees. 133 of them were in the Fulton County DA's office. Where were the other 400 employees? Almost 400 employees. Where were the others? What did you hire them to do if they're not in the Fulton County DA's office? I'm just wondering. My next question is, if this 133, see, I can't be on the Fulton County Commission. I can't be on the commission. And I got to go and just be in my office and talk loud every day. I was going to apply to the Fulton County Commission, but they're not going to let me be on the commission because I'm going to ask this logical question. If this 133 people were able to help resolve 149,000 cases, why do you need them anymore? They've done their work. They were temp employees to get done with this problem. Y'all, this woman gonna keep playing in y'all faces. And it actually gets better. Wait till we get to the letter. I continue, let us continue. The incentive was wildly deemed a success. The initiative was wildly deemed a success, helping to bring Fulton County's jail population from 2,618 people in December 2021 to 1,642 people in the second week of December 2024. I've already challenged this question. I've thrown this out there before. How many of those people, because that's almost 1,000 people swing. I'm just proposing a question. How many of this 1,000 people that used to be in the jail and now are no longer in Rice Street Jail, how many of those people are housed in Cobb County? How many people are in Douglas County? Hey, DeKalb, you got any of these people? Fayette County, Gwinnett County. Are you housing any of these people? Because just to say that they're no longer in the jail and saying that it's below capacity, because now remember, the jail was overcrowded as recently as November. Now all of a sudden there are 500 people below capacity. I need to see exactly what happened. How did that happen? And if nobody's going to answer that question, then Fulton County Commission should not give her another dime more than what they allocate. You have a bake sale. Go do a garage sale and get your money. Okay? Um, that's it. Go sell water on 20 on the exits on 20. But I'm not giving you a dime more until you can tell me and show me how in these last two paragraphs, all these numbers make no sense. And I live here in Atlanta, and we're gonna look in the letter. I don't think, and I think she just made that up. I think she called Chat GPT, and no, shout out to Chat GPT. I think she asked Chat GPT to make up those numbers because it don't make sense. As these issues began to ease, Orca funding and personnel dwindled. By October 2024, just before the project came to an end, okay, I knew it, the project came to an end, the district attorney's office had retained 55 Orca hires as full-time employees. Why? You're done with what you said you were going to do with it. You got the jail down. All these things have been made right. There's sunshine and rainbows. There's peace in the city. There's no more Hellcats running around. Shout out, I'm gonna buy me a Hellcat. There's no more Hellcats zipping around 285 and the such like that. You made peace in the city. I think there's unicorns and bunny rabbits and all kinds of stuff, right? Willis says the budget initially proposed in November is likely to undo the progress her office has made. If the proposed budget is enacted, Fulton County will certainly see a dramatic increase in its jail population and likely to lose much of the progress that has been made in reducing violent crime. Willis wrote, also projecting that the Fulton County Jail population would increase by at least 1,000 detainees by year's end, bringing the head count well beyond the facility's maximum capacity. I'm wondering if that's because they're paying Cobb County to house. I know for a fact that 7 miles from my house, there are detainees in Fulton County detainees are in the Cobb County Jail. I know that. So I'm going to assume the same thing is true with Gwinnett. Same thing is true with Cherokee and DeKalb, somewhere else. All these other little places, Fayette, we know they're down in Fayette. That's where Mooktunk was. So we know they house their criminals in other places besides Wright Street. So that's not a flex. So maybe y'all losing your money because you don't have the money to, I'm sorry, maybe the issue is you're not gonna be able to pay for these people to be somewhere else. Maybe you should go ahead and deal with the issues that are at hand. Hear me clearly. If you enact the proposed budget, people will die, Willis wrote in bold type. Elsewhere in the letter, Willis described the inhumane conditions of the Fulton County Jail, blaming the commissioners for failing to provide more funding for her office and the sheriff. I would just love to know in the chat, can you go to your boss and say, hey, boss man, I'm not going to tell you what I did with the, $50,000 that you gave to my department. I'm not going to tell you what I did with it. I can't tell you what I did with it. But if you don't raise the 50,000 budget to, 65 or 70, hey, Miss Mary down the street, she might, something might happen to her. Can you get away with that? I don't know, man. Maybe it's a new day out there in the workforce. I need to run to Indeed and see if mafia tactic negotiation skills is actually something that they're paying for in 2025. I don't understand this because this is craziness. Right. Like hey, you might we might have a little problem. You know what I'm saying? That's craziness. This sounds like some mafiosa tactics. Shout out to the mafia. Shout out to the mafia. U.S. Department of Justice and Fulton County entered into a consent decree earlier this month, whereby the county agrees to address the deplorable jail conditions and avoid a potential lawsuit. Dozens of detainees have died in the facility in recent years. Willis also noted that the homicides, rapes, and aggravated assaults dropped in Atlanta by greater margins than the national average, citing FBI data. She attributes these improvements in crime reduction to her office having adequate resources to investigate and indict as quickly as possible. We are going to look at how they go about indicting, and it is exactly as bubblegum as you can imagine. It's crazy. It's crazy. Fulton County declined to comment on a pending litigation. I bet you they did. Rob Pitts, chairman, and Rob Pitts is a major supporter of Fani. Rob Pitts, chairman of the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, told Capital B Atlanta in October that there would be financial constraints on the 2025 budget due to the board not increasing the county's property taxes. Okay, I mean, there's a reason why, but let's continue. The revenue which we will have to work with will be fixed and Pitts. All of the programs and projects will have to be funded with the available revenue. Chief Magistrate Judge Cassandra Kirk and Sheriff Pat Labat have repeatedly asked the Board of Commissioners for more funds. The magistrate courts are allocated $5 million to propose in the proposed 2025 budget, while the sheriff's office is slated at $151 million. Now, I'm not saying emphatically that that the commissioners should not give money to Fani, and not tacitly saying they shouldn't give money to Sheriff Labat. But the fact that you're not willing to reveal, show, and share how it is that you're spending the money in every nook and cranny, to me, is reason why they don't need to fund you. And they fund you more than go above and beyond. And because I've heard nothing that rhymes with Fani Willis, Sheriff Labat, Chief Magistrate brought the financial audit, brought their budget to show where every dime was spent, brought the receipts to show how they were using the money that they had last year, the year previous, and the year before that. No, they just ain't giving me more money. And apparently, it seems to me that the Fulton County Commission is saying tacitly, we're not getting the bang for the buck that we expected to get. We thought we would be getting this amount. So we thought we'd be getting this level of exposure. We thought we'd be getting this level of return. And we're not really getting what we want to get. Therefore, we're not going to give you more. That's what I'm getting here from the Fulton County Commission. Now, I'm not saying that that's directly what they're saying, but I think it's fair. I don't think it's a lot too far to say that's what they're tacitly saying. 10 ORCA magistrate staff left in August 24, and we've continued to request sustainable funding to continue the great work we've proven we can do, Kurt said during the January 8th board meeting. ORCA was a Band-Aid, and we knew it. She continued, ORCA allowed us to show what this court could achieve with adequate resources. Attached to Willis's letter are annual funding. Okay, let's see. Fundings from 4 grand juries convened to inspect Fulton County Jail each year between 2021 and 2024. The first 3 grand juries recommended the Board of Commissioners consider approving the construction of a new jail. The 4th, why do you need a grand jury? Am I tripping? The 4th attached a copy of the jail's feasibility study commissioned by the county. Okay, that's, I'm sorry. That is just, and you know what? Shout out, big screen. Y'all know already. I'm gonna tell you a story. It's story time with Whitaker. We have to, as a deacon at my church, we have to explain why and receive an explanation why certain things need to be bought and such of that nature. We can't just say, hey, we want more money for this program, this project, with no explanation, no reason why. And the reason we can't do that is because the congregation holds us responsible for money management. We can't actually spend but a certain amount of money without actually going to the congregation, because we're Presbyterian. So we need to have a meeting because we need to have a meeting. So we are held accountable to the congregation to tell them why we're spending money like we do. Matter of fact, next month, I have to give the deacon report to the congregation about why we spend money and how we spent money in a certain key area. And at any given time, a congregant can say, hey, I want to know how you're spending money in this area. And we have to be able to show them. We can't just say, hey, trust us. It's all in, put it all in God's hand. No, they want to know, and they should be able to see how we're spending money. And to me, this makes no sense. And we have no budget that's even in the ballpark of what these people are talking about. I mean, we're over here scrambling, scraping about $50K. They over talking about 50 million, 500 million. Man, and y'all don't want to show people. And the reason I'm upset about this is because they're not telling you how they spent the money. They just said the grand jury says, Jason, what in the world are you doing? The grand jury says that we need to build a new jail. Well, ma'am, sir, how are you spending the money that we gave you last year? The money last year and the year before that, how was it spent? I don't see anything here that demonstrates or reflects that they are trying to be good stewards of their responsibility to not just to the people of Fulton County. Forget trying to sue your boss. We're going to sue the elders because they want to spend money. That's crazy. This is the craziest story. I didn't expect it to be this loony. I'm sorry. And that's another point. Kiana actually brought it up. If she sues, that doesn't that well, I'm sorry, a snarky lawyer, a lawyer that's really on his or her P's or Q's, is going to ask to see the books. This is going to drag Fani Willis into such deep waters. Why make, and again, Fulton County Commissioner has been her defenders. They've been the defenders of the district attorney's office. Why turn them into your enemies? That makes no sense at all. I look, I know that people like making enemies out here in these YouTube streets. I ain't never seen nothing that doggone stupid in my life. Why make them your enemies when they're the ones literally defending you and funding you? Make it make sense. The grand jury findings, which were shared by the commissioners at that time, are likely to play a role in the lawsuit should Willis decide to sue. Earlier this week, Republicans in the state house voted to revive a special committee to investigate alleged misconduct of Willis's office, and part of that is the monetary spending. She faced criticism for dedicating her office's resources to high-profile racketeering cases against Atlanta rapper Young Thug, former President Donald Trump, while the Fulton County case backlog was still massive. It's almost like part of this article was written by one person and another person wrote another part of it, because this doesn't actually rhyme with what we read earlier. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that the authors of this article are wrong. I just don't think that. How did you quash? What was it again? It was some astronomical number. What was that number? It was crazy. How in the world was Fani Willis able? She's only been in office for 4 years. Project ORCA launched in December 2021. So that had been 3 years roughly. Just 1 year into Fani Willis's first term as district attorney, the program allowed Fulton County Commission to hire 528 employees, including 133 in the district attorney's office, to resolve 148,209 backlog cases. So they were able to do that while down here going after former president and Young Thug. So Young Thug case is pretty much a wash. The Donald Trump case is pretty much a wash. Maybe you now have time and resources to maybe keep up with the other stuff, Fani? Is that a lap? That might be a lap too far, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. The special committee, however, is primarily concerned with the romantic relationships between Willis and Nathan Wade. I don't think that's true. That's not true. It's not the romantic, it's the financial misgivings. And please keep in mind that at the end of the day, they want to know why. I don't think anybody would care if Nathan Wade was just her jump off, but he wasn't tied to the Trump case in any way, shape, or form, and he wasn't getting paid almost $1 million. See, nobody would actually care, but that's where we are. The special prosecutor she hired in the Trump case, the Georgia Court of Appeals ruled last month that she should be removed from the case due to the previously undisclosed relationship. Nobody would care. We would not be having this discussion if Nathan Wade was not hired as special prosecutor. That's the only thing. Now, granted, I still think that Nathan Wade is a low-down, dirty, rotten scoundrel, and so is Fani, but I digress. That's just my own personal commentary. She appealed the decision in Georgia Supreme Court earlier this month. They're going to shoot her down. All right, we're gonna go over this letter in a second, but let's keep going. Oh, that's the end of it. Ha 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 ha. So, what do y'all think about that? Wait, this thing is not 78 pages. Y'all better stop playing with me. There is no way in the world this thing is 78 pages. No way. Hold on. I refuse to believe that. No way. That letter was not that long. I don't think so. It actually is. No way. Oh my gosh, it is that long. Merciful Lord. Oh, it's a lot of no. There is a ton of examples. Okay, let me drop this in the chat just so y'all can have it as well. And you're welcome to look at it. I am not going to go over all the examples. That's going to put everybody to sleep, including yours truly. There you go. All right. No, it's only 7 pages. Whew, praise his name. Because your boy was going, I wasn't going to make it. I was like, wait, why did I do this without reading this? It's actually only, it's only 7 pages. Okay, that's not bad. Whew, I was worried, y'all. I was worried. I was feeling mighty down. But shout out. Thank you so much, everybody who's already jumped into the chat. So what we're doing is we're just going over, Fani Willis is suing. That's so funny to me. She's suing the Fulton County Commission because they're not going to give her as much money as she would like to get next year or this budget year. And I think it's hilarious. And clearly somebody else thinks it's hilarious as well. And that somebody is Ashley Merchant. Ashley Merchant wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, perhaps Fani Willis should have been more careful with the taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' funds given to her in the past. Or maybe she should have permitted the audit of her office, or maybe not told the Fulton County Fulton County Board of Commissioners that they give her a budget and she can spend it however she sees fit. And of course, this is a link to this article that we're reading right here. Shout out to Ashley Merchant, super snark in 2025 for sure. All right, let's pull this article in and let's look at it. I don't know why it's slowing down. Anyway, because it's all big, man. It's like 700 quadrillion pages, man. This is silly. She didn't put all these examples into it. And we're going to say, maybe we'll look over some of the examples, but I don't think we're going to look over much of them. I don't think anybody cares. But shout out to Fani Willis, man. Just taking them L's. Man, she be rocking them L's all the time. It's a low down dirty shame that she's still collecting these L's like this. And she don't have to. That's the thing. She doesn't have to collect these L's. She could just lay low. She could just lay low instead of bringing attention to herself every time she turns around. Instead of doing that, Fani Willis could just say, you know what? Let me just go ahead and be quiet. Let me stay out of the limelight. I told I'm not going to stir up the apple cart, anything like that. I'm just going to be low key for a while. And instead of that, she out here causing chaos. And I mean, for what reason? What's the purpose of that? And then to threaten the Fulton County Commissioner is nasty work. Let's bring this in. Let's go. I'm going to just share the screen right here. So that'll do it. Let's go. All right. Let's get it. Let's make it a little bit bigger, Jason. I think that's pretty good. Drop it back just a little bit. There we go. Let's go, Jason. Here we go. This is, of course, let's take a break. The office of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. And we see this Fani T. Willis right there at the top. Let's keep going. And this is from December 11th. Via hand delivery or electronic email. Chairman Rob Pitts and commissioners, I write to you to bring your attention to a crisis that each of you is aware of as the actions of the Board of Commissioners, I'm going to call it the BOC, is responsible for it. And you are the only persons empowered in the Fulton County government to address it. Specifically, the Fulton County's proposed budget for the 2025 calendar year, if enacted in any form close to the current proposal, will greatly undermine ongoing efforts to move cases forward in a timely manner. Broadly, the Board of Commission's budgetary neglect of my office will result in a less safe community for Fulton County citizens and a worsening of the crisis at the Fulton County Jail that you have long neglected. But didn't she just say that they've resolved quite a bit of that crisis by I guess doing something with the guests of the Fulton County Jail? What is the crisis? I thought you dealt with almost 149,000 cases. What is the crisis? I and you did that with the money from last year because all the BOC is asking for is saying that we're going to keep the budget the same as it was in 2024. That's all they're saying. They're not saying we're going back to like 2018 or we're going back to 1918 or anything of that nature. They didn't even say they're going to have a yard sale. Jason said that, but they're not even telling her to go have a yard sale. They're just saying we're going to keep the budget where it was. Now, this is the same Fulton County Commission that, again, like I'm saying, they gave her that unadulterated, I want to say it was $6 million. It wasn't 12. It was $6 million for automobiles. And many of the cars that they bought the year previous, they weren't able to account for and say where they were. But this is the same Fulton County Commission that now she got all this smoke for it. Y'all, there's no honor among thieves, allegedly. The proposed budget, if enacted, will lead to needless deaths here in the county. We are all elected to serve. Y'all, if you don't give me money, it sure would be bad what happens to Miss Sally down at the end of the block. Is that not a threat? Y'all, this woman is tripping. She is tripping. During the budget process, my staff provided you with detailed information about our office and its needs to ensure that ensure that you can insure. There's a lot of insurers up in here. Hey, look. Okay, about our office and its need to ensure that we can ensure the progress made over the last 4 years is not lost and that we can continue to make progress as we move forward. I ensure. No, I'm just kidding. And why are all those? That is the most word salad. I feel like I'm a vegetarian now. Like I'm a vegetarian after reading that because I just had a big old word salad. As I have discussed with each of you, our case intake division, I want you to remember that. I think that's the organization we're going to talk about in a minute, has made great progress in reducing Fulton County's number of unindicted cases. We have seen a dramatic drop in crime. At the same time, we have seen a dramatic decrease in the number of defendants held in the Fulton County Jail waiting adjudication of their cases. I just need them to tell us that these people were actually indicted or actually let go. Because I can tell you as sure as my name is Jason, they house criminals in other places besides Fulton County. So this sentence right here, albeit true, is not 100% correct. That's all I can say. Because, yeah, you can say that you've decreased the number of defendants held in the Fulton County Jail, but that doesn't mean you didn't move them to Cobb. That does not mean that they're not in Gwinnett. We know they be up in Fayette. So that doesn't mean that they're not there. So tacitly, you are correct. Technically, you're correct. Fulton County Jail has decreased the number of defendants, but that just means you spread them out. But you need the money to pay for them to be in those other places. And therein is the problem. I hope the Fulton County Commission, I hope she does sue them. I hope she does. And I hope all the records are exposed. All the books are laid out on the table and everybody can look at them. Because that's all. I mean, that's what it's going to take. When I took office, there were over 3,700 inmates in the jail and in excess of 600 sleeping on the floor at any given time. In 2024, the number of inmates in the jail has declined as low as 2,300. So that's 1,400 inmates. That's different from even the article that we just read. Like that's a 1,400 swing. 3,700 to 2,300. That's 1,400 people. Okay. I I really hope she does sue him. I hope she sues the socks off of Rob Pitts. I hope she sues everybody in there. Everybody. They mamas, they dogs, they goldfish, they second grade math teacher. I hope they sue them all. And I hope Fani Willis got to show and prove because these numbers don't make no sense. You went from 3,700 inmates in the jail, and she's taking big credit for that. Not that she's not giving that to the sheriff. She's not giving it to anybody else. She's taking credit for the fact that there were 3,700 inmates in there, and now there's 2,300 inmates. Show me where they went. Show me where 1,400 people went. I'll wait. And for everybody that you could show me where they went, you'll get $1,000, Fani. There you go. You get $10,000 for each person that you can show me that they got out of jail. They were unindicted. They were indicted. They're at Rikers Island now, wherever. Show me where they went. 1,400 people. Let's go. Because in a moment we're gonna go through and you're gonna see a lot of this. The way that they during the YSL trial and other trials, we were really wondering about. They took plea deals, all that kind of stuff. During the YSL trial, we we're kind of wondering about the really horrible way that they went about investigating, right? She talks about that and she doesn't take responsibility. Spoiler alert. Despite the personnel cuts this office has endured this year, we have been able to help keep the jail population below 2,500 as of the end of 2024. The proposed 2025 budget, however, will reverse the progress and send this case backlog and jail population sky high again. Just okay. How? How does that work? You were able to do your job, whatever your job is, with the budget that your employer gave you, and the employer said, "We're going to keep your budget the same as in 2024. We're going to keep it that in 2025." He didn't say he's going to cut it down to 2018 levels. He's going to cut it down to, the 80s level or anything of that nature. Just saying, hey, it's going to stay the same year over year. And that's going to cause it to skyrocket, Fani. I'm sorry. I hope she sues him. I really do. I hope she sues him. I hope she publicly sues him. She come in there waving papers around with a dress on backwards, the whole nine. Sue them, Fani. Please sue them. And I want all those records wide open. That's all the Fulton County Commission got to do is let all the records be open. That's it. But nothing is hidden. You can do this open. Put this on crime TV and law and crime. Hit DWC. I'll go to the courthouse if Fani Willis will sue the BOC. I will be there every day. I have to get a new camera, y'all. We have to work on that. But I'll be right up in there because this is crazy. Okay. The proposed budget, but skyrocket again. The proposed budget not only fails to restore any of the almost 20% cut in the district attorney's personnel that occurred in 2024 and fails to restore single position this office requested, but it also proposes further cuts due to the plan to block the filling of vacant existing positions for months at a time. Okay, I think it's interesting. I don't think she explains fully where this 20% cut is coming from. I think that's because of that ORCA money that we just talked about a moment ago. I think this is ORCA money that she's lamenting over here. But I digress. Again, if the proposed budget is enacted, Fulton County will certainly see a dramatic increase in its jail population and is likely to lose much of the progress that has been made in reducing violent crime. If the proposed budget is enacted with its further cuts to this office, the jail population will be over 3,500 by the end of 2025. Why is that? Why? 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 I'm sorry. I would have just wrote a big old Y, WHY question mark, maybe an exclamation point, and I'd have said this back to her. Why? What is going to cause that to happen? I mean, this makes no sense. All right, hear me clear. Uh-oh, here we go. Oh, this is the bold print right here. They mentioned in the article, hear me clear. If you enact the proposed budget, people will die. Darn, hurt my jaw when I did that. Great day. That's dramatic. She should put an exclamation point there. Now that deserved an exclamation point, Fani. You don't have to do the double exclamation point because that just looks crazy. But at least you should put an exclamation point there. If I was proofreading this and a second grader wrote this, I would have said, hey, put an exclamation point here for dramatic effect. Carry on, little Johnny. Carry on, little Susie. Let us continue. As we have dramatically, okay, y'all, I think my medicine is kicking in. As we have dramatically improved our backlog of unindicted cases, improved our investigation before indictment, and our cooperation with our partner law enforcement agencies, aka Cobb County, because we send all our people up to Cobb, violent crime in our community has declined dramatically. Let me just ask a question. If you're already doing these things, example being you're communicating cross counties and such like that, and you have a very good network, you have a good relationship with the other districts, so that you let them know, hey, we got little Johnny and little Ray Ray and the Hellcats running around. We're chasing them. Want you to be on the lookout. Does it cost money to communicate with other districts and other counties about just keeping the crime, keeping them a loop? Like, hey, we found this gerbil smuggling ring out here in zone 6. I just want to let you know, you over here in Fayette, you over here in DeKalb, you in South Fulton, we're letting you know we found these gerbil smugglers. So hey, if you run into anybody trying to sell off fake gerbils, this is where we think it started here. Does that cost money to do that? Just to communicate, just to call, just to text, just to shoot them an email and say, hey, this is what we're noticing. We got a bulletin, you got a group text between district attorneys so they know. Does that cost money? And if it does, how much does it cost? Does it cost like $10 a text or something? Or like, are y'all like on the old Bell South plan where you had to like pay for your minutes? What does it cost you to do that? You've already established it. This is lunacy. This is total lunacy. Our case intake division, and the case intake division is exactly, we're going to look at them. Progress on the inherited backlog and improve pre-indictment process. My administration inherited 18,000 unindicted cases. This is the number. Now it says 18,000. Don't y'all remember in the article, it said 149,000? What in the, y'all just throwing numbers in the air. I think nobody ever checked Fani Willis's homework, so she just make up numbers. When you were in math class and your teacher said, solve, but in the back of the book, it had all of the odd answers. So it said your teacher said you had to do the whole page, but you had to show your work for every answer. So you could be slick and go back into the back of the book and get the answers for questions number 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, but you got to still show how you got the answer. Nobody ever checks Fani Willis's numbers. These numbers just seem like they're made up. That situation was certainly a mistreatment of victims and also suspects who had to wait years to learn whether charges would be brought against them. Really, Fani? Did you really say that out loud? We have fully overhauled the indictment process by gathering evidence before indictment. Listen to this. Listen to how she is really proud of this system. Super proud of this system that they've come up. We have fully overhauled the indictment process by gathering evidence before indictment. This not only allows for the best charging decisions, but provides for faster case resolution. Our case intake division now works with the police departments to fully investigate cases to secure necessary evidence before we indict. The complaint room that the case intake division replaced frequently would indict suspects based on nothing more than a faxed statement from a police officer with no effort to secure critical evidence such as security camera video, witness statements, or results from crime lab tests. All too often, indictments would be dismissed because the complaint room system resulted in indictments that charged people with crimes that could not be proven. Hello? Hello? YSL trial? Oh, yeah, yeah. This sounds a lot you're right. It does sound a lot like the YSL trial, right? A lot of unproven, take the cop's word for it, no yeah, it does sound like the what was it called? The complaint room? You're right. Thank you, YSL trial. You're correct. This sounds exactly like it. Fani, newsflash, Fani, please sue the Board of Commissioners. I beg you. I beg you to sue the Board of Commissioners. If I need to go get, what's that, certified as a process server, I will go get certified as a process server so I can go serve the Board of Commission your lawsuit because I want them to open up all the books and show everything. That's all. If you will show everything, I will be here for the lawsuit. This is ridiculous. The case intake, by the way, the case intake division has allowed us to reduce the number of unindicted cases in the office by more than half, which assures that that we conduct investigations and ensure evidence before bringing indictments or felony accusations against those persons accused. This greatly improves the process, ensures that our ensures is the word of the day. Okay, this whole thing is brought to you in part by the word ensures that our courts no longer have to engage in mass dismissals of cases for lack of evidence. I'm sorry, this just sounds ridiculous. That victims do not see justice denied due to failure to build proper cases against defendants, and that people do not unjustifiably face felony indictments for cases in which sufficient evidence to prove the charges has not been secured. We will not be returning to the complaint room model. Fani, I think you've never left the complaint room. I'm sorry. I just need somebody to explain to me why, because you do see here, they've not been doing their own investigations up to this point. So now they're really happy that they're doing investigations. Well, ma'am, that's what you should have been doing from the beginning. That's not a flex. Let's continue. Doing so Doing so would be a violation of the oaths I took as a constitutional officer and as an attorney. It is unethical for the prosecutor to indict or accuse someone of a felony without evidence in hand that the prosecutor reasonably believes will prove the person's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. That sentence right there should have made her fingers burn when she wrote it. She couldn't have wrote it. Her fingers would have burned off when she said it. Now, the first part of it, I think she added a second the second portion of it. Let me read it again. I'll show you what I mean. It is unethical for a prosecutor to indict an accused person of a felony without evidence, period. That right there, I think most of us realize that she didn't have a lot of evidence in many of these cases. But I think she added the second part based upon my own information and belief in hand that the prosecutor reasonably believes will prove the person's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. That in hand part right there is just crazy. That's just crazy talk because I don't think she did. And again, we're going to use the most egregious example, the YSL trial. I'm sorry. What evidence did you have in hand that Jeffrey Williams was doing those things that you were saying? What was the evidence in hand? I'll wait. I don't think she did. Okay, let's continue. Too many people were indicted by the previous administration of this office, despite the office lacking the necessary evidence. That is hilarious. That right there. Wow. Too many people were indicted by the previous administration of this office, despite the office lacking the necessary evidence, and then were put into a position of being pressured to plead guilty for those same charges. Y'all, I got to go home. I might have to rage quit. We're gonna take a drink break. Do you all know? Does anybody know who was the previous administration that ran the Fulton County DA's office? Does anybody know in the chat? Anybody? Y'all, I gotta fix my camera. Y'all, we're gonna have to have a. I don't like that. Oh my gosh, my camera's shaking. I called myself fixing it the other day, and now it's shaking more. I don't like that. Does anybody know? See, somebody's already there. Fani Willis was in that office. Fani Willis worked in the Fulton County DA's office under Paul Howard. She was the second in command. Like, she makes it sound like she wasn't there, which I think is adorable. So she's saying Paul Howard did certain things. Now, mind you, let's talk fun and games. Paul Howard was the one that said that the YSL trial didn't have enough teeth, that too much of it was built on Little Woody in his testimony. That's why Paul Howard never brought the case. But you brought the case in, and you're saying that you're better than Paul Howard? Okay, all right. I guess that's what we got to deal with. I just think it's a layer. I think it's adorable. Further, victims were poorly served by the system and saw too many cases dismissed simply because the district attorney's office failed to secure evidence that later disappeared, such as surveillance video and witness testimony. This has got to be a farce. This office cannot, and as long. So, real quick, let me ask a question. I'm sorry, and please don't email management that I'm stopping too much. I'm gonna stop. This is my show, and I'm gonna fuss about my camera moving. So you can email management if you have a way to keep my camera wiggling like that. That's crazy. How does getting paid more allow you to keep the surveillance video? How does a bigger budget stop you from losing witness testimony? How does that work? This sounds like something my kids would write. This sounds like an excuse that Chief Executive Secondborn would come up with. This is crazy. Please, Fani, sue the Fulton County Commission. Please sue them. Sue them with all the gusto. I mean, big bravado. Sue them all. Sue each and every one of them. This office cannot, and as long as I am district attorney, will not return to a system that puts speed of indictment ahead of the investigatory process we are obligated to pursue to ensure that evidence exists to justify the charges that are brought. For optimal efficiency, y'all stop. Optimal efficiency, the case intake division takes 47 lawyers, 20 investigators, 10 support professionals to adequately operate the unit. What? Just stop, Jason. Just stop. This team works 42. This team works 52 weeks out of the year. I mean, they're working hard out of the year, including weekends. The case intake division handles 98% of the accusations, indictments, and diversion referrals. In addition, in addition to handling 98% of all charging decisions, the case intake division handles the following court proceedings: grand jury, first appearance, preliminary hearings, bond hearings, and non-complex court 1 and non-complex court 2. These court proceedings require lawyers to be present and prepared to excess of 30 times per week, in excess of 30 times a week, in order to handle hundreds of defendants. Okay. Because of the Superior Court judges have given 43% of their caseload to non-elected county funded judges, the case intake division also prosecutes 43% of all cases assigned to Superior Court judges through non-complex Court 1 and Court 2. Based on the proposed current budget cuts, the case intake will be forced to operate with only 14 lawyers in 2025. Why? They're proposing to just leave it as 2024. Again, nobody is asking Fani hard questions, and I pray she does in fact sue the board of commissioners, the BOC, because you're operating right now in 2024, you're able to do these things. Why are you not able to do it in 2025 with the same budget that you had in 2024? Nothing is changing. What is the difference from one year to the next that's causing you to now? Because she's saying that she operates with 47 lawyers. Now she's going to have to drop it down to 14. So basically losing 33 lawyers. I mean, basically, that's effectively saying cutting it by 75%. Why? Why? Please sue them, Fani. I want you to sue them. My name is Jason. I want you to sue the Fulton County Commission. Dear Fulton County Commission, I want you to make everything open and put it on the table. Everybody can see it. If Fani Willis sues you, please make everything available. This is crazy. This is wild. Q, whatever you sent me, could you send it to me in WhatsApp, please? I see you sent me something right there. Could you send it to me in WhatsApp? Let me make sure I have WhatsApp open over here, by the way. We'll take a commercial break. I'm I'm embarrassed for Fani Willis because she just won't stop. And I think she's extremely headstrong and she's extremely for lack of a better term, full of herself, that she doesn't see that she's making some very egregious errors. Like, Fani, you should just lay low. You done lost. The YSL trial went off the rails. Trump case is off the rails. Like, just stop. Just stop. Just leave it alone. Just get out of the way. Because everybody want to know where Thug Watch at. Like, just lay low, Fani. Just lay low. Just stay out of the way. Just leave it alone. Let's go. New programs that make Fulton County safer, more just place for everyone have been created and are working. Okay, this is something I just want to propose as well. I never hear elected officials or politicians talking about how non-political entities can help them do their jobs. What I mean by that is I never hear Fani talk about civic organizations that aren't getting paid, but she gives them some shine or anything of that nature that are helping in the streets, boots on the ground, if you will, that are helping out with dealing with youth involvement and getting kids out of gangs and into jobs and things of that nature. Is only things that they do. The only reason that crime has gone down in Atlanta, allegedly, is because of Fani Willis. The only reason that I'm not out there, racing down 20 in my Hellcat is, one, I don't have a Hellcat yet, but also is because Fani Willis. Not because I got good sense, not because I have a good community around me, not because I'm married and I have kids and I realize that that's just stupid. Nope. The only reason is Fani Willis. I never hear them talk about other entities. And the reason I bring it up is because every solution is a monetary solution in these people's minds. Why not talk about the good that other organizations are doing to help combat this problem as well? In October 2021, we created the Fulton County, the first ever pre-indictment diversion program that has taken hundreds of cases out of the judicial system. More importantly, the program has allowed us to resolve cases with a program that has defendants pay restitution, learn life skills, and to be connected to job opportunities. And we do not mark them with the scarlet letter of a felony indictment and all the negative life consequences that come from that. You know who else does that? Churches. I mean, I'm not trying to make a separation of church and state argument, but Churches do this all the time. AA organizations, there are a ton of organizations that do this, and they're not writing a BOC for a budget. They're not threatening to sue Rob Pitts for his socks because they cut the budget. Why can't you, if you've already got this in place, why can it not run on the budget that you have? Because keep in mind, they're not saying they're giving you no money. They give you the same money you had last year. To date, 737 people have taken the advantage of the pre-indictment diversion program, with 324 successful graduates and 413 actively participating. So nobody else can do this. No other entity is doing anything to help the community except Fani Willis. That's all I'm saying. It might be a little bit better. In addition, our our case intake division, we have built specialty units that handle crimes against children, domestic violence, elder abuse, animal cruelty, cold case murders, and cases built on long neglected RKIT evidence. We have a new repeat offender tracking unit in cooperation with the Atlanta Police Department and the Atlanta Police Foundation. The success of these efforts is reflected in the dramatically improved crime rate in our community. Because again, remember, the only reason Jason is not zipping around town in his Hellcat is because of Fani Willis's programs. There's no other viable reason that crime has gone down. None whatsoever. It's only what these people do. And the only reason they can do this is because you give them money. And they sure would hate for Jason to start zipping around in his Hellcat if you don't give me more money. Because Jason is going to be out here running around like a crazy potato if you don't give me more money. These people are crazy, man. I'm just trying to make sense of this, and I'm not finding the sense. Let's continue and let's get done. All of these efforts have combined to lower our crime rate, because that's the only reason, especially our violent crime rate dramatically and much more than our national average. In fact, in September, the FBI released its nationwide crime statistics, and the report detailed the dramatic progress we have taken in reducing violent crime, and doing so at a rate much faster than the national average. In Atlanta, homicides are down 21% compared to 12 in the national. Rapes are down 51% compared to 9 nationally. Aggravated assaults are down 16 compared to 9. That progress has continued in calendar year 2024, with another 10% drop in homicides through September 2024. With a decrease in pews as well. The Midtown Alliance reports that the crime in Midtown Atlanta was at a 25-year low in 2023. The Buckhead Coalition reports that in Buckhead in 2023, robberies were down 29 and aggravated assaults were down 39. Grapes were down 60%. Thefts from autos were down 13%, and auto thefts were down 11%. I've heard people argue that these numbers are not really real. That they're not right. But beside that point, let's just say the numbers are 100% right. I'm not arguing that they're wrong. Is it only because of what's going on? Is there no crime watchers, citizen being more vigilant, people being more circumspect of their locations? Maybe people staying away from Lenox Mall. Maybe people not going to Buckhead. I couldn't tell you the last time I was in Lenox Mall. It's been better than a decade. Maybe people stay away from there. Maybe people don't hang out around there because they don't think it's safe. So therefore, there's less victims there to be caught up. Is that a possibility? or maybe there's some other factors that play a role. But the idea, the notion that the only reason that these numbers are real is because of Fani Willis and what she has done, I think is a lap too far. And I would, if I were the Fulton County Board of Commissioners, y'all gonna have to show me that. You got to show me, how did you come up to this reality that you are the reason, Fani, and what you're doing, because you're the prosecutor. What are you doing that's causing grapes to go down? That people are no longer wanting to break into people's cars and such like that, or steal people's cars. What are you doing, Fani? How does that work? I'm sorry. There's got to be more questions. Please sue the Fulton County Commission. Please sue them, Fani. Please. And please, Fulton County Commission, put it all on tape. Put it all out and open. The county administration's proposed 2025 budget threatens to reverse recent progress, increasing the violent crime rates and swell the jail population, ultimately putting lives at risk. As you are aware, during the 2024, you cut personnel of this office by almost 20%. My budget request asks for those positions to be restored. Specifically, I will end 2024 with 35 fewer prosecutors, 20 fewer investigators, 19 fewer support staff than I began the year with. Okay. So she's fighting for that. So they're not changing again. They're saying stay where you are and do what you can with what you have, which makes sense to me, given the fact that you haven't told me what you're doing with the money that we've given you. To date, this board has eliminated 74 positions from my office, reducing staff by 20% at a time when we need more resources more than ever. Currently, the non-complex division handles approximately 42.3% of Superior Court crime cases. 10 attorneys per day are required to staff these calendars that operate 6 days per week. Based on these budget cuts, we are forced to reduce the staff in the non-complex division of the Superior Court due to the immeasurable void of personnel. The case intake division handles in excess of 32 calendars, excess of 30 calendars a week. That includes bond calendars. Okay, special hearings, non-complex court 1, non-complex court 2, grand jury overseeing thousands of cases. It should be noted that none of these calendars are manned by an elected Superior Court judge. These court calendars duties are in addition to the constant flow of investigating and indicting cases, other duties. 14 lawyers cannot effectively staff these duties, okay? It is my constitutional duty to appear before and handle the felony cases before all of the 15 elected Superior Court judges. These judges currently have in excess of 7,400 cases before them. These judges are presiding over homicide, RICO, gang, rape, child assault, armed robbery, aggravated assault, domestic violence, human trafficking, internet crime exploitation, cases along with other serious violent crimes. As district attorney, my first responsibility is to ensure that the victims of these heinous crimes have proper representation. It should be noted that even with these reductions in staff, we will ensure that each Superior Court judge is appropriately staffed. Eliminating over 20% of my office is a tremendous disservice to the victims, survivors, and the community at large. So my problem is, up to this point, Fani Willis makes it sound like everything that she's doing up to this point, everything she's doing is fully above board. She's doing everything she can. She's running a tight ship, and therefore you should not eliminate anything because she's trying to keep a tight ship. I think that is, you know what, Fani, why don't you just bring your numbers on in here and let us all see it, and we got a checkbook ready. As soon as you can show me and prove to us that you're using every dime, every that we ever given you in the right way and in the right capacity, then we'll go ahead and give you that extra 20% or whatever it is that you need. How about that? Because it just doesn't seem like, I don't see where she's getting this bravado from, that she's doing all these great things, if in fact there's no evidence to it. Let us continue. We urgently need our budget to reflect the needs of the office as detailed in our 2025 budget request. Without adequate positions, we cannot properly execute the stationary, the statutory, basically, duties of our office and protect the citizens that live in and visit Fulton County. As personal as personnel cuts, therefore, necessarily slow the pace of indictments for incoming felony arrests, that means that the population held in the Fulton County Jail will certainly climb, with more people held in the horrific, even illegal conditions that exist there. The Board of Commissioners, the BOC, is on notice in each of the last 4 years about the deplorable conditions of the Fulton County Jail and has refused to act. You are now on notice that your continued refusal to adequately staff this office will worsen the conditions there and make Fulton County less safe. I need her to explain how that happens. But I digress. Because y'all said that everything was sunshine and rainbows and you was operating on the 2024 budget. So why is it not sunshine and rainbows now? We have been on notice of ongoing humanitarian crisis in the Fulton County Jail for many years. I think it's interesting that she's jumped from the streets. All of the focus is on the jail, and I could be, maybe I'm being petty, but every issue is the jail, not the community, not anything else. It's just the jail. And again, I mean, the jail is a problem. Let's keep it 100. But what about the things that you're doing that keep people out of the system as a whole? Because there's far more people outside of jail than there are inside jail. So maybe you should talk about what are you doing successful that are keeping those people outside of jail, and maybe highlight that, your pre-diversion program, your pre-indictment program, and all these other great things that you're doing, the gang intervention program. Oh, wait, no, that's right. She stopped that. She didn't do the gang intervention program. My bad. Sorry. But maybe talk about the things that you're doing that are keeping people out of jail rather than talking about what happens when they get caught up and they're in jail. Just seems like you're making a lot of hay over 3,700 people when there's 3 million people that are not in jail. Just a thought. Some of the conditions outlined in those reports include reports of plumbing backup, mold and mildew in living areas, broken door locks, and single staff members responsible for supervising hundreds of inmates. The notice, but see, that's a Sheriff Labatt problem. That would be a Sheriff Labatt issue. That has nothing to do with Fani. That would be Sheriff Labatt saying, "Hey, I need to get more people over here." I mean, and we already know he's got a pretty nice budget. I'm sorry, I don't. The notice you have received from those annual grand jury reports, not to mention the news reports and a recent scathing review of the recommendations released by the United States Department of Justice, makes the commissioners unwillingness to take needed action to address the horrific conditions in the Fulton County Jail all the more inexplicable and unexcusable. Ma'am, that should be a sheriff. This sentence should be from Sheriff Labatt. I don't know if this was a group project or what, but this should be Sheriff Labatt is lamenting the condition of the jail, because you should be talking about what is the condition of the prosecution system, in my opinion. Well, why are you telling me about the jail? The cost to house a resident in Fulton County Jail has increased over the years. As of today, it costs $111 per day to house an inmate with no medical needs in the Fulton County Jail. So it's very possible, because I know that there are people in Cobb County. So it's very possible that they're paying, let's just say $150 a day to house a criminal here in Cobb County that needs to be shuttled down to Fulton County for a court and then shuttled back. Okay. When some of the YSL trial defendants were up here in Cobb County, if they were charging $111 a day, then you gotta factor in shipping and all that kind of stuff like that. So shipping costs are going to be a little bit more. So let's just say $150 a day. That's craziness, man. That's a lot. Okay, let's get done. There are over 2,600 residents in custody. The Board of Commissioners the board's decision to dangerously understaff the district attorney's office will cost the county $40.5 million per year while unexpecting citizens foot the bill. Why is that? I don't get the logic jump that if they don't give you more money, Fani Willis, that there's going to be more people in jail. I don't get how that works. Now, if you said, if this was Sheriff Labatt saying that, I can kind of get with you. That would make sense. But why does that work? I don't understand how that works. The Board of Commissioners is now on notice again via this letter that the proposed 2025 budget for this office will prevent me from fulfilling my duties as district attorney, and that will make Fulton County less safe and worsen the already deplorable conditions, unconstitutional conditions of the Fulton County Jail. Each of you are on notice. Each of y'all. The proposed 2025 budget is adequate to allow my office to fulfill its legal obligations to the citizens of Fulton County. Should you enact it without necessary resources for this office, you will be voting to endanger citizens and worsen conditions of the Fulton County Jail. Any sense you may have that you are saving money through a proposed cuts is wrongheaded. As stated above, the increased jail population will cost millions of dollars in judgments because you all willfully have failed to fund public safety. How? Okay. The county commissioners have placed this office in an untenable position, forcing me to make a decision on division of resources. Let me be clear. All the hard work we have done to reduce the backlog and decrease the jail numbers and bring efficiency to the criminal justice system will be lost because of underfunding. Without adequate funding to properly serve the citizens of the county, we have to explore legal remedies, which include filing a lawsuit against the Board of Commissioners to seek budget consistent with the number of and nature of cases this office handles. There is a legal and factual conflict of interest for the county attorney to advise, counsel, or represent the district attorney's office regarding this matter. Notably, Rule 17 of the Georgia Rules of Professional Conduct prohibits county attorneys Joe from representing who's Joe? Representing my office, and such conflict cannot be waived. As such, we request that the board authorize and fund the individual legal counsel to represent the needs of the office pursuant to squiggly line right here. And that's Fani T. Willis. This woman is a piece of work. She's basically saying, hey, we have a conflict of interest. So we need you, Board of Commissioners, to pay for the attorney that we are going to use to sue the Board of Commissioners. Y'all, this makes no sense. Y'all, this woman is amazing. You gotta take your hat off though. Fani Willis she's pretty amazing in the fact that she's so unself-aware. That is the craziest thing. She is going to sue the county commissioner and then tell them that they need to pay for it. That's gangster. That is amazing. Oh, and real quick, let me show you everybody that she's suing. All right, she done C-suite everybody and their mama. I'm looking for Dear Woe Christian to be on here. Natalie Hall on there. Marvin Arrington, that's her running buddy. Nat, Marvin Arrington. They all have given her money. They've all have supported her. They all have been. Judge Whitaker up on their page getting it. Ingram getting it. Cross getting it. McAfee getting it. Lethbridge. I mean, ain't nobody left unturned. She getting them all. Everybody getting it. She said, "Oh, if you want to." All right, so maybe her artifacts have some real numbers in it. I don't know. I'm gonna let y'all look at it. Y'all can check it out. Y'all, Fani Willis is a piece of work, man. I am pretty taken aback. Like, man, she is serious, man. She's suing her boss for a raise. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. But what I can do is I can say thank you so much to Finding Good. Let's shout out the supers. Thank you so much, Finding Good, for blessing somebody with a membership. So if you got a membership from Finding Good, make sure you say thank you. And of course, Finding Good became a new member. Shout out to all the members of this channel. You all do such a great work in helping me keep this thing going. Thank you so much. And I will tighten this camera up in honor of you all today. What does Finding Good say here? She says, charge the DA and Fulton County with RICO. I mean, really? I can't see any reason why not. I'm taking a breath. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for the $2 super for sure. Look at Amethyst Angel. What does she say here? So she's using the DA's money she doesn't have to pay the cost of a lawsuit. Make it make sense. To me, to me, lawsuits seem to be the very last thing that makes sense to me. Personally, I don't understand. Civil lawsuits made no sense to me. I would rather just walk over to Amethyst Angel. Thank you so much for the $5 for being a member for 8 months. And let's just talk it out. Can we come up to some way that needs to work it out? Why sue? That makes no sense. Because that's money that you need. That money's going to come out of these attorneys. Like that, they're going to come. The money's going to be subtracted by the attorneys. Thank you so much for the $5 super as well. Will you also be reacting to the Stacy Abrams money laundering investigation? I did see that right before I went online. I had not planned to. It will be 100%. I'm trying to do this and look, and I did see that, and I did not plan to, but guess what? I now have it. Shout out to Atlanta News First. We got you. I got you dialed in. We're gonna pull it in a second. Thank you, Amethyst Angel. That was a great question. Man, can't think of a better person for this to happen to. All right, let's go. All right, thank you, Amethyst. Thank you. We got you. We give the people what they want over here. Thank you for the other $5 super as well. She says, "Will you?" Oh, sorry. Will you be reacting to the doctored FBI numbers and corrected stat? Tell a darker story. Tell me what you mean. I might be. If you're talking about these FBI numbers in here, I've admitted I don't think these numbers are right. I don't. Whenever you give stats like that, it always causes my little spidey senses to go up, and I take them all with a grain of salt because I just don't know if those numbers are correct. I don't know what you're using to. Are there any other factors? Like, for example, let me give you an example. In Buckhead, there used to be a notorious club where women didn't wear a lot of clothes. Notorious, right? Now, out of the blue, because I used to live not too far from it. Out of the blue, it closed. It went away. And by that place closing down, I mean, it was notorious. I mean, it was everybody talked about it. The only other place that's probably more popular in that regard is like Cheetah, that's in Midtown. But let me finish my point. When that place closed down, I can guarantee you, without even needing to know the crime stats and all of that kind of shenanigans, when that business closed up and went away, crime probably was impacted positively in that area. Because it's just, there's no other way around it. I mean, it was a big place. It had a huge parking lot. It was akin to like Club Crucial, right? It just brought a lot of people in there. But once that place went away, so would the stat that says, if the police chief got on and said, "Hey, we've reduced crime in Buckhead," did you really reduce crime, or did certain industries that were inviting crime go away? You got to ask that question. I'm just wondering. So when I see and hear those type of stats, I'm like, I don't know if I'm falling for those. I don't know if I'm believing that there's only one thing that's brought about this result. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, maybe there's a lot of other places, a lot of other reasons, please forgive me, that could have been a factor in the reduction of crime in this area. Again, like I just said, people stop messing. A lot of people don't go to Lenox Mall anymore. And I'm sure Perimeter Mall is very happy about that. Perimeter Mall is about 7-8 miles away from Lenox Mall outside the perimeter. And they probably are very happy that people don't go there. And there's tons of other malls around as well. But Lenox used to be the go-to mall when I was in college. But now people don't mess with them. So when you say that crime has gone down in that area, is it really crime has gone down or there's fewer people around there? Just a thought, just an idea. And again, like clubs that stay open late, that you're able to drink and all that kind of shenanigans like that. Does the reduction of those places cause, or the policing of those places, cause a change in what happens there? I don't think that you can just say the only reason why crime has gone down is because Fani Willis wiggled her hand and did the hooja mooju, and that's what did it. I don't think that's fair. I mean, there's lots of other reasons why. And that's why I was even asking about like other non-elected, non-governmental entities that might be doing something, like crime watchers and citizens being more vigilant and stuff of that nature. Those you can't quantify them and properly say, hey, well, because we got crime watchers, that's why crime went down. Can't say that either. But you can't say that it didn't help or add to it. That's it. No, I appreciate it all. Thank y'all so much. Okay, let's look at this. I know nothing about this case. I saw a headline about it and I said, oh, and then I got a phone call. So I wasn't able to even do anything. So I'm literally watching this with y'all for the first time. Stacy Abrams founded an organization hit with the largest ever campaign fine. Let's go.
You're following is the largest fine levied for violating campaign finance law here in Georgia. And tonight, the group that backed Stacy Abrams' bid for governor in 2018 is in hot water.
It comes after the state ethics campaign spent years looking into the organization for potential violations. 11 Live's Joe Ripley was there when that fine came down. So, Joe, what message does this send?
Yeah, so Faith Jonathan, this fine targets the very group that Abrams founded back in 2013. And today, the State Ethics Commission's fine against the group sends a clear message. If you violate campaign finance law and break the law to influence an election here in Georgia, they're going to come after you, and you will face the consequences.
According to a consent order, the Georgia State Ethics Commission found the new Georgia Project violated campaign finance law tied to Democrat Stacy Abrams' run for governor in 2018 and the MARTA expansion referendum in Gwinnett County in 2019, both losing battles. In the consent order, the new Georgia Project admitted to the 16 violations, including a failure to properly register with the Ethics Commission and a failure to disclose more than $4 million in campaign contributions, plus more than $3 million in spending. In turn, the Ethics Commission fined the group $300,000, the largest campaign finance-related penalty in state history.
If an organization is electioneering in Georgia as an independent committee, they have to register with the commission. They have to disclose the money they raise and the source of that money, where they're bringing in their dollars from. They have to disclose how they're spending that, and they have to indicate in the disclosures what elections they are advocating the election for or against and name the candidate.
The Ethics Commission first looked into a complaint in 2019, but a series of legal battles from the new Georgia Project delayed a decision for years. Cody Hall, an advisor to Governor Brian Kemp, is now questioning what, if anything, Abrams knew and when.
Not only has the new Georgia Project been levied the largest campaign finance fine in state history, they have also agreed with a single accusation made by the Ethics Commission in their investigation.
Legal counsel for the new Georgia Project responded to the consent order in a statement saying they were disappointed in a court ruling that was overturned on procedural grounds. They add, quote, "We are glad to finally put this matter behind us so the new Georgia Project can fully devote its time and attention to its efforts to civically engage and register Black, brown, and young voters in Georgia."
And today, when asked if the State Ethics Commission found a reason to believe Stacy Abrams herself violated any laws, Executive Director David Amati said that was still under investigation.
All right. Real quick. This is going to be a controversial take. Okay. This is crazy. This is crazy. I know. This is going to be wild, man. Go register to vote. Go register right now. Wherever you live, just go register, check your registration, make sure you register to vote. This idea that we need people to do a program or have some kind of souls to the polls or uh, rib dinner or fish fry to register and all this kind of craziness. It makes no sense at all. You are a whole bona fide grown adult. Go register to vote, please. Just stop it. Like this whole thing is first of all, it's a sham. I'm sorry. I don't think it's legitimate in its intention in the first place. I don't think it's legitimate because black folk can get anything else, but they can't get a driver's license to register to vote. What are you saying about us, man? Stop it. Now, if you want to say children or first-time voters, I can work with you. I can work with you there, but I'm gonna make sure my daughter, when she's able to vote, she's registered to vote, and then we're done. But to me, this idea that you have to have some kind of I think it's money laundering. I know I use the term money laundering kind of often. I think it's money laundering. There's a money laundering, and I think that's why Stacy Abrams' organization got stuck because it's dumb. It's just the dumbest thing. Like, you're a whole grown adult. You mean to tell me you really need an organization to tell you to register to vote? I'm just asking a question, trying to make sure I understand. You really need somebody to tell you to go vote? I'm sorry, to register to vote? Really? Now, no, you can still check on your local county websites if you're registered to vote, where to vote, what time is voting, all this stuff. Why do you need an organization collecting $42 million to tell you where to go register to vote? I mean, help me I need to make that money. I can get me 3 Hellcats. I can get me a Hellcat every day. And I can be zipping around Atlanta, shoo, shoo, causing chaos, man. That just seems really whack. But this is going to be, in my opinion, this is going to really haunt Stacy Abrams if she tries to run again for governor of Georgia. I think it's going to be a problem. And it's going to really isolate her because a lot of people, what'll happen is this. Stacey Abrams will announce that she's going to run for governor of Georgia. There will be a divide. Okay, let's just tell the truth, shame the devil. There'll be the less melanated. There'll be the highly melanated. Some of the highly melanated people will just sniff the copium and say, "Oh, Stacey Abrams is going to be the best thing ever," and they're going to run Team Abrams. The less melanated might say, "Hold on, wait. Let me look at the facts. Let me look at where we are." Okay, and a campaign finance shenanigans will come up and say, "I don't know if I want to mess with that," and then there'll be a divide. And you have people, and I'm not going to mess with Stacey Abrams anyway. So that will be what ends up happening. And I think this will come up again. You'll hear this again with this Stacey Abrams and her organization. Whether she did or she didn't, whether she knew about it or not is beside the point. Her name is now tied to it. Because I typed in Stacey Abrams and the first thing came up was organization fraud. So clearly it's going to be a thing. Yeah, like you can register to vote at the DMV online everywhere. To me, it tells exactly what you think about this people group. Like, the only reason you can get black people to vote is you got to have Meg Thee Stallion twerking. Remember that one during Joe Biden, no voting, no vucking? That was the grossest thing. Or there's something about polls, and it had women that were ill-dressed on a pole dancing. It was crazy. It was crazy. I'm like, that's what you think about the highly melanated people. Because they weren't doing that for white people. Let me just tell the truth, shame the devil. They were not doing that for white people. They weren't doing that. They didn't bring Meg Thee Stallion out and Beyonce out for white people. Now, maybe y'all like them. I don't know. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. They brought Taylor Swift out for white people. What do you think about black people that you would bring this type of shenanigans? Cardi B and Glorilla? Come on now. Come on, man. That's the problem. That's the problem. And I think the more, and I definitely did not intend to turn this into a political conversation, but we're here. Welcome. the Democrat Party is going to continue to collect L's and lose more and more ground because they don't see people as adults. They see them as children in kindergarten. Y'all know that I'm a former classroom teacher. I taught for 15 years. I taught first and second grade. And first graders and second graders are vastly different than high schoolers. And they're night and day different from grown adults. Now, there are some adults that act like first and second graders. But as an overall people group, adults are adults and first and second graders are first and second graders. So there's a difference. And there's many people in the Democratic Party that don't see the voting populace, and I'm going to really whittle it down, see Black people as adults and able to solve problems as adults. They need, in their minds, we need somebody to come in there and help us out, to do everything. And you know that's true. That's why we need somebody to tell us how to vote. I mean, how to register to vote. Because you don't see any, and please tell me, I have people in the chat right now who are less melanated, white people. Do y'all have a white people get out to register to vote situation? You know, you got Willie Nelson, you know, smoking to the vote or something, or do y'all have something like that? Because I've never seen one, and maybe I missed it, maybe because I'm not white, I don't know. But Black folk cannot find their way. We can find our way to the Hellcat dealer, we can find our way to the drug dealer, we can find our way to everywhere else, but we cannot find our way to go vote. But praise God, we got Stacy Abrams. Praise the Lord, we got all these people to take us to show us where to vote, how to register to vote. We got Jamal Bryant and his crazy self. Y'all stop that. That's so, oh, that thing is not going to age well. I forgot about yeah. Right. I don't know if there's a white equivalent to this, but Black folk can't do it though. That's the thing that is amazing to me. White people, and I don't like but white people know to go to the DMV. White people can go to check my registry to vote.com or whatever, right? But Black folk don't know how to do this. We have no clue how to do this thing. That seems maybe you know, going to the DMV is racist. I don't know. What does DMV stand for? Department of Melanated Victimhood. I don't know. But apparently we can't go to the DMV to go and register to vote. But my goodness, in the morning, Tommy and Sally sure can. But Leroy and Keisha, they don't know how to get there. My goodness, in the morning. And they will make every excuse under the sun, as sure as today's Friday, to justify souls to the polls or stroll to the poll or whatever it is. Like, come on, man. Come on. We're not children. But that's the thing. The Democratic Party will continue to collect L's as long as they keep treating people like children. Folk don't want to be treated like children anymore. I'm sorry. The more and more you hear the I left the Democrat Party crowd, the more and more you hear people saying, I don't want to be treated like a child. I'm an adult. I pay taxes. I got a family. I'm married. I don't want to be treated like a child. I can make my own decisions. I don't need you to tell me that I can't look at the facts and make my own decision. I don't need you to tell me that. And so, yeah, it just seems like a silly endeavor to continually make up this narrative that we got to get people registered to vote. Why can't they do they need to get registered to go to get a job? Do they need to get registered to they don't need help registering their kids for school? They don't need help with anything else, but you got to get them registered to vote. Well, why is that? Why is that? If you have a smartphone, you can get. I mean, come on. It just seems dumb. And so when you see Stacy Abrams getting in trouble and her organization getting in trouble for this, you're like, probably because you didn't need to exist. How about those biscuits? The organization shouldn't have existed in the first place. My little 2 cents. My name is Jason, dearwokec@gmail.com. Make sure you email management that you think I'm the terrible person, right? Let management know. Like, man, Jason, you crazy. Please make sure you let them know. But it just seems like a fool's errand. And now you put yourself in a pickle where now you're in trouble. And again, $300,000 is not a lot of money, but apparently it's a lot. It's the most that any organization has been fined here in Georgia already. So, I mean, there's that truth as well. But it just seems like such a silly thing. Like, why? Why does it even exist? Why do you need to do these type of shenanigans and hijinks when people can go get registered to vote? You don't have the same thing that take people to go get their lights cut on when they move into an apartment or they buy a new house. You have souls to stroll over here and help you get your garbage pickup registered or get your lawn care service. Why not? Why do I need somebody to tell me how to go get registered to vote? Just saying. It just seems weird. And at some point, the highly melanated people are going to have to say, wait, why? Why are we doing this? Because you can do everything else, but you cannot get registered to vote. Just let that sink in real loud and real proud. You got your Kroger Plus, you register for that. You got your boba tea place, you register for that. You go get a passport. You can be a passport bro or passport sis. You did that. You can go, but you cannot get registered to vote. It's easier to register to vote than it is to get a passport. We just got the kids new updated passports. That's a pain in the butt. But you can do that. But you can't get registered to vote. I'm just saying. I'm here causing chaos. I'm just over here causing problems. I just think it's silly. I think it doesn't look well. It's definitely not the flex that I think people
the state ethics
think it is. Like, oh, we're doing souls. No, it's not. It's not a flex. It's not. You look weak. You're making people look like they're infantile, like they're not able to take care of themselves apart from you doing something for them. And this is just dumb. Okay. I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to leave it alone. I probably got 18 messages in my email already. All right. I'm trying to see. I want to see if anybody else is talking about it. Let's look I got a different Georgia news outlet real quick. This is a Fox Atlanta. Let's see organization. Hold on 1 second. Bring it in. Let's see what they say, and then we'll get ready to bug out of here.
Grassroots organization founded by former gubernatorial candidate Stacy Abrams hit with a massive ethics fine today.
The two-time candidate for governor founded the New Georgia Project in 2013 to register voters. But the State Ethics Commission alleged the group functioned as an illegal super PAC for Abrams' campaign. The Fox 5 High Team's Johnny Edwards was at an ethics hearing today where the group admitted to these charges. Johnny?
Well, Tom Courtney, Stacy Abrams has made history again, but probably not how she meant to. The fine for New Georgia Project, $300,000. We're told it's the largest fine in the history of the State Ethics Commission and possibly the largest state ethics fine ever in the U.S.
What did Stacy Abrams know and when did she know it?
The New Georgia Project, founded by former Georgia governor hopeful Stacy Abrams, got credit for helping turn Georgia blue in the 2020 presidential election.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
By then, the State Ethics Commission had already launched a sweeping investigation into the group's fundraising and spending that would drag out for 5 years, accusing the grassroots voter registration organization of being an illegal arm of Abrams' 2018 run for governor, failing to register as a super PAC or file required financial disclosures.
This clearly represents the largest and most significant instance of an organization legally influencing our elections in Georgia at a statewide level that we've ever uncovered.
Culminating today in a $300,000 fine.
And I think this sends a pretty clear message to the parties, to the public, and to potential bad actors moving forward that if you break the law to influence our elections, we're going to be diligent in our pursuit and we're going to hold you accountable.
For years, the group fought back, fighting subpoenas, accusing Ethics Executive Secretary David Imati of partisan attacks, even suing the commission in federal court until a judge dismissed the case.
I think actions like this
should be criminal. To continually stall and not cooperate with our investigation is extremely disheartening.
Total dark money raised for Abrams and other candidates, $4.2 million. Total spent, $3.2 million, which went toward, among other things, door knocking, mailers, social media, and operating 10 field offices with paid staff. In the end, New Georgia Project admitting to 16 violations of state law. One of the group's attorneys appeared over Zoom.
And we don't necessarily agree with everything that Mr. Ahmadi just said, but at a fundamental level, respondents understand and respect the commission's position on the facts and the law.
Something else, the violations happened while New Georgia Project CEO was the Reverend Raphael Warnock, who left the group in 2020 for his successful run for U.S. Senate.
I'm not prepared to say he had direct involvement in this. I didn't personally find evidence of that.
We reached out both to Senator Warnock and Abrams today, but haven't heard back. In a sign of the current state of New Georgia Project's finances, it won't be paying this fine all at once. The group has to pay $150,000 up front, then we'll get another year to pay the balance. Tom, Courtney?
Yeah, they're not good accusations, Johnny. Did this consent order say anything about Stacy Abrams herself being personally involved in this?
No, she had put some distance between herself and this group, at least on paper, although the group did at one point share an address with her company, Third Sector Development. Now, Ahmadi did disclose today that there is another complaint that does allege collusion, but that is still under investigation.
All right, we'll see how this legal process plays out. Johnny, thanks.
Thank you.
Still ahead.
All right. Wow. Okay. That actually made it even worse, in my opinion. So the whole point of the organization collecting $4.2 million was to tell people to go vote. Okay. $4.2 million to tell people to go vote. I mean, I wouldn't need $4.2 million, but hey, I could buy a lot of Hellcats with 200,000. Hook a brother up, man. I can, that's just crazy. I can fix my camera and that shaking thing. I can fix that. I wouldn't even need $4.2 million. This is so crazy. And the organization did not need, and if it had registered as a super PAC, if it said it was anything else, then that would have made sense. But just to register people to vote. How much does it take to register to vote? I mean, I didn't get paid anything. I literally just went on a 5-minute rant, register to vote. Go register. Go to your DMV and register to vote. There, problem solved. Somebody said you could do it through your phone. Like, get your smartphone, get your dumb phone. Go register to vote. There, problem solved. Why aren't we doing this? This just seems like such a silliness. And to me, it's a form of money laundering. I'm just going to put it out there, causing trouble, starting a fight. In Texas, you can't get a driver's license without a certified birth certificate on file. Okay? If I came from Texas, if I moved from Georgia to Texas, can I get a driver's license because I have a functional, up-to-date Georgia license? Or do I need to have a birth certificate on file in order to get driver's license in Texas? Just a question. Yeah, it just seems like such a wild turn. I don't understand what this is. But so the fact that they got in trouble, I find it hard for me to be concerned about it because that's what y'all deserve. I mean, in my opinion, the organization didn't need to exist. So anything that happens to it and this kind of shenanigans, I can't get registered. I can't get a driver's license in Texas only if it's backed by the birth. Really? Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I have my birth certificate. I mean, it's written on papyrus. I mean, it's pretty old, but okay. Wow. Okay. I will not be moving to Texas. So all my plans to move my Hellcat population over there to Texas have not. Let me just scratch that off my list because I will not be moving to Texas because I am not going to be worried about where my little papyrus birth certificate is. So there you go. You missed out, Texas. You missed out on DWC moving to Texas. As if they really cared. My brother lives in Texas. I would not want to live around my brother. I have them. I have it. Okay, interesting. You gotta have a registered birth. So how do out of state people? So they had to bring their birth certificate, I guess. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would not be like that's something I would definitely look into before I said, "Oh, hey, lady, dear world Christian, we're gonna move to Texas." Let me tell you something. I'm gonna look into that well before I make that move because I didn't want to get tricked. Because that would be, oh my gosh, it'd be terrible. But I mean, I have the girls, I have my wives, I have all our birth certificates, so it's all good. So, but y'all, thank you so much, man, everybody. I want to say I appreciate all of you all for rocking with me. Thank you so much again. I know I've said this a lot, but 2024 was a fantastic year for this channel. I want to say thank you to every last one of y'all for making it as such. You became a part of the best live chat on the internet, and you really helped this channel grow. A lot of things happen, good and bad and indifferent, on camera and off, and it really is because of y'all. So thank you all, each and every one of y'all. I really appreciate you. And if you don't know, my goal is to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of April. So if you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell notification. So you know what, next time I'm doing something, which I will be doing something on Sunday. We have a great live stream planned on Sunday, and on Monday, we will be live streaming the inauguration. So we'll be I have some guests that'll be coming on. We'll be talking about it. We have a good time chopping it up. So get your popcorn, make sure you got your birth certificates and all that kind of stuff, and jump into the best live chat on the internet. And if anything happens before the end of the night, don't be surprised if we jump back on again, because Lady Dear World Christian and the girls are out. So I might jump on again just to cause chaos later on. So I appreciate all of y'all. Thank you so much again for rocking with me. Thank you so much for tapping that like button. Thank you for all that you all do to help make this channel grow, make this channel just a fun place to be. I really appreciate it. Now, I always tell you, if you run across a good article, you want something that you want me to look at, man, shoot me an email right there, dearworldc@gmail.com. If I have time and we can make it work, we'll definitely do so. I really appreciate it. What? You had to, wait, a marriage license? Oh, man. I don't know where my marriage license is. I did not talk about the arrested senator, but I will talk about it on Sunday. I appreciate it, but Dwayne, we will talk about that on Sunday for sure. Oh my gosh, man. I hope they don't have look, if they need my marriage license, I'm in trouble. I am in cash money trouble. That one I don't know. But I can bet $1 that Lady Dear World Christian knows where it is. So as long as she stay married to me, I guess I'm good. So I don't have to worry about it because she'll know where it is. But I want to say thank you all again for rocking with us. Thank you so much for making this a great, engaging discussion. Thank you to all of the super chats. Thank y'all so much for helping out and supporting the channel. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm looking forward to doing this again real soon. So until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Take care. See you soon.
Hit that like for Deal with Christian. Yo, for Deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for Deal with Christian. For Deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for Deal with Christian.